when you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America.
And that was former President Trump following his not guilty plea in Special Counsel Jack Smith's 2020 election investigation. The 45th president of the United States is now facing a total of 78 criminal charges in 3 separate cases. 34 of those criminal counts are by Manhattan Democrat District Attorney Alvin Bragg, while the other 44 are from Biden's Department of Justice. President Trump is also facing a possible 4th indictment to come in Georgia. The Fulton County Democrat District Attorney is investigating Trump for his alleged attempt to interfere in the 2020 election. A grand jury is expected to decide in the next couple of weeks whether or not Trump will face criminal charges there in Georgia. Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt says if Trump is indicted, he will be treated like anyone else accused of a crime, including getting fingerprinted and a mugshot. Joining me now on all of this is President Trump's attorney, Alina Habba. Alina, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
So first off, are you expecting an indictment in the coming 2 or 3 weeks from Georgia?
Yes, I think that it's been highly spoken about. I think if you look at the barricades, the fact that she's got her PR team doing fresh pictures for her, it's a good indicator that Fannie wants her moment, and she will get on the bandwagon with the rest of the corrupt DAs and AGs that we've seen out of this country.
What is President Trump's response to all of this?
I think what he said outside the last January 6th arraignment was perfect. It says it all. This is not America. This is not how you fight your political opponents because you can't win on issues and you can't win on policies. Your borders are going to hell. We have drugs and pandemic. I mean, it's a mess. Our country is a mess. So what do? They arrest Trump over and over again to distract you from the corruption that's happening inside the Biden administration and the policies that they can't win on. I think that that is what this is. If anything, it's an indicator of how strong Trump just is, right? And the polls, of course, speak to it. But when they come at you in such an unwavering way, in such an un-American way, an unprecedented way, you know that they're afraid. And I think that you know him personally, Maria. He's a strong person. He's also very much in love with this country, and they're not going to stop him.
Alina, let me get your take on the money being spent here on legal fees. Did you hear what Congressman Byron Donalds just said? He said that he believes the strategy of the Department of Justice is to bleed Trump dry, to bring so much legal issue and problems to Trump that he has to spend all of this money on legal fees. You are the general counsel of his super PAC. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the political committee has spent more than $40 million this year on legal fees as he and a constellation of advisors have been swept into these various investigations. How much has it been, and how are you directing the money in terms of paying for legal fees?
Tens and tens of millions of dollars, and I do think that that is part of this strategy. It is incredible. They have brought in people like myself who have nothing to do with these cases. I was not part of the administration, just so that lawyers have to get lawyers, and these lawyers cost money. And when you take a broad net and you try and intimidate anybody who is part of his circle, whether I couldn't even say inner circle, Maria, it's gone further than that. You know, the valet at Mar-a-Lago, the chefs, the whatever. It's crazy, and it is on purpose. Nothing they do is not intentional. It's calculated, and it is to make him bleed. The problem is that President Trump is independently wealthy as well, and they forget that. And he has said at rallies, I will do whatever it takes. If it means I have to spend my own money, I will. He is very protective and kind and generous. And at the end of the day, they're going to try and take him down financially. And that's just frankly not a good angle. I don't know if they've seen, his wealth, but it's probably not the best angle to go at.
Alina, let me ask you this, because typically when you have a case as complicated as the one we're talking about, there is deposition, there is discovery, a whole discovery process where Trump's lawyers will have to get access to the other side's information and vice versa. How long do you expect that process to take? Because Jack Smith says he wants a speedy trial. We are about a year away from an election. Obviously, we're just 2 weeks away from the first GOP primary debate, 2 months away from the Iowa caucuses. Are you expecting to have a trial before election 2024?
I think that that's their goal. I think that realistically, you have to remember that a lot of these cases deal with classified documents and classified records, which mean that all the lawyers now have to apply for special clearance, right? So it's not a normal situation. You can't just take a classified document and review it. You have to have SCIFs. You have to have certain procedures put in place. So while I appreciate Jack Smith trying to bleed us all dry and trying to have a speedy trial, perhaps he should have taken a case that didn't involve classified documents that he now possesses, that we have to now repossess and review for discovery. It's a poorly planned attack, frankly, because that's what it is. It's political lawfare. And he didn't think it through. So I think these are going to take a lot longer. I think that once the judges get a breath for how many years they've had this discovery, look at Fannie, 2 years. But she's bringing this case now. Why? Because of election interference. They want to keep him tied up in trials, keep his lawyers tied up so that we're distracted and not focused. It's not going to work. He is a machine, and he knows what he's doing in a campaign. You know, he's done this rodeo before.
All right, we will leave it there. We'll be watching all of these developments. Thank you so much, Alina Habba, joining us this morning, former President Trump's attorney, Alina Habba.